Yo, what is up YouTube? It's Brio here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be comparing next-gen consoles to PCs and which one's better in terms of Fortnite. I've done two other videos in the past comparing next-gen consoles to PCs in general and saying which one in my opinion is better, so make sure to check those two out. But in this video specifically, I'm going to be comparing them in terms of Fortnite and which one's better to be able to play that game specifically. Now, if you guys do enjoy this type of content and want to see more, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. It really does mean a lot, and we're nearing 300 subscribers by the end of this year. So that's completely amazing and crazy at the same time. But before we get started with the video, if you guys do want to just get into the video, skip like a minute ahead. But first, I do want to talk about and address the fact that I have not uploaded in about a month. Now, the reason for that being is that pretty much I've been really busy in terms of school, a lot of finals recently, and I've been trying to get together kind of like just my priorities straight again, because I was uploading a lot on YouTube a month ago, and I wasn't really setting my priorities straight, and I was putting too much time into YouTube, and I wasn't putting enough time into other things like school, family, and other things like that. So this video is kind of like a one-time thing over break. I just wanted to get a video out around Christmas time by the end of this year, you know, kind of just wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. But I still do need to take in a couple weeks more to be able to get things straight. But hopefully in a month or so, I will be coming back, and I will be coming back strong with, you know, my priorities straight, and just be able to upload more consistently and more frequently. So I'm sorry for that, guys, and I do appreciate everybody that's stuck around from the beginning. But with that being said, guys, make sure to enjoy the video, you know, make sure to sit back, relax, and without further ado, let's get started with the video. Okay, so we all know that one of the biggest updates that's ever happened to consoles just came out recently, and that's the introduction of 120 FPS to the next-gen consoles, that being the PS5, the Xbox Series X, and the Series S. And this is a huge performance boost and just a huge upgrade to the consoles, and this brings them even closer to PCs. I think before that it wasn't really a question. PCs were pretty much really good and way better, but with this new introduction to 120 FPS, it does beg the question, is it worth spending the extra money on a PC, or should you just spend less money and just go with a console, because you're still going to be getting 120 FPS. Now remember, guys, you guys still do need to have a monitor or a TV at least 120 Hz refresh rate to be able to unlock this feature and to be able to make the most out of it. So if you don't, then you're not going to be there's no really use in using the 120 FPS mode. But if you do, then this is the video for you. So let's get into the first thing. And the first question and the first topic is consistency.
But Brio, you don't even upload consistently.
No, baby Brio, not that type of consistency. I'm talking about consistency in terms of frames. But the reason that this is so important is because there's no point in being able to reach 120 FPS if it doesn't hit there consistently. And we do know with the old generation, I know it's old now, with the PS4 and the Xbox One, they were able to reach 60 FPS, and in creative, for the most part, it maintained 60 frames per second. But in real games, especially in end games, it was dropping down to 50 or 40 or maybe even 30, especially if you had one of the first lineups of that console. So then it wasn't really consistent. But with the 120 FPS mode in Fortnite, you know, it's in 1440p. Shadows are a little bit reduced, but the game still looks amazing, top notch, and for the most part it's really consistent. On end games where it's stacked and there's like 30 people in a small circle, you're going to be dropping down to probably 100, and that's still really good. But for the most part, it's a consistent 120 frames. I've watched multiple videos, even though I haven't tried it myself. There's multiple videos out there, guys, with people, you know, testing this theory out. And even though the Xbox Series X does perform slightly better, they're both super consistent, and they both maintain that 120 FPS mark. So consistency is not a question. And with PCs, you know, obviously it depends on your PC. If you're using a low-end PC and you're capping it at like way higher than you should be, then yes, it's not going to be consistent. So it all depends on your PC specs, and then you can cap it at a reasonable rate, and most likely it will be consistent. But let's talk about price. Now you guys gotta remember, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, the Series S is super cheap, $300 is a complete bargain. But if you have a little bit more money to spend, you're gonna be paying about $400 to $500 if you're gonna get the digital PS5 or not. You're gonna be spending about $500 to get a pretty good experience. You're not gonna get a $500 PC that's gonna be maintaining 120 FPS unless you're going to be using performance mode on that PC. And the problem with performance mode, even though it performs really well, it doesn't look good pretty much. And on console, they're maintaining 1440p, shadows are still like enabled but just slightly reduced, and the game looks amazing, and they're still being able to capture that in 120 FPS. So that is the real question. A $500 PC is not going to be able to do that. If you have more money to spend, like $1,000 or so, then yes, a PC is going to be better 100%. But if your budget is around the $500 range, a console is better, no doubt. But here's the thing, some players are looking to use keyboard and mouse on these consoles, and you can use it. The input delay is way less, the responsiveness is so much better, and it just feels and looks better altogether. But the problem is, if you got 120 FPS on PC and you compare that to 120 FPS on console, the input delay is still going to be better on PC. Not way better, but significantly better. And that's a real deal pretty much, because 120 FPS on PC is not the same that it is on console. Obviously 120 FPS is a huge step up for console players, but it's still not as good as 120 FPS on PC, because PC is just always going to be more responsive. Honestly, you could probably get 60 FPS on the PC and it might be just as responsive as 120 FPS on console. So in terms of latency and input delay, PC is still gonna win this. And this is one of the biggest things in terms of PC, is the customizability of your settings. On PC, you can have textures high and everything else low. You can have everything high, you can have everything low. You know, while on console, you have two options: 60 FPS mode at 4K and everything at high, or 120 FPS mode. Because consoles, in theory, they're way powerful enough to be able to handle at least 144 FPS. If you were able to turn down all your shadows and up the FPS cap, you can maintain higher FPS. But the consoles, they don't allow you to do that. While on PC, you can lower your shadows, you can lower all your settings on performance mode, and on a $500 PC, you could probably be maintaining at least 144 FPS, and you're going to be getting really good input like delay. It's going to be really low, so it's going to be way more responsive. And that's the biggest thing. It all depends on what you want out of the console. There's no one definitive answer. Would you rather just maintain 120 FPS with the game looking good, or do you not care about looks as much and you just want the less input delay and you just want more frames? And it also depends on what you're trying to get out of this game. If you're trying to become a competitive player in Fortnite, sure, you can play on console. There's tons of competitive players on console that make livings off of it. They make a lot of earnings and everything, but you have a way better chance on PC because there's more options on PC. The PC prize pools are generally bigger, and more competitive players play on PC in general, even if you're going to use a controller. But if you're just looking to have fun, then console is way more than enough. 60 FPS as it is way more than enough when it comes to just having fun. 120 FPS is a huge step up. And also, again, it depends on your budget. Generally, you want to be spending at least probably $800 or so if you want a PC that can outperform a current gen or next gen console. Meanwhile, if you don't have as big of a budget, and you're only going to be spending around $500 to $600, then go with the consoles, because you're going to be getting more performance for your buck. And it's kind of obvious though, like if you have the money, go with a PC 100%, because you could spend a lot of money on a PC and your PC will perform 10 times better than a console. You'll be, look at like Booga's PC or Clix's PC. They can easily manage 240 frames, probably on max settings if they wanted to, because they have the best of the best gear and components. But most people don't have that kind of money to spend. Most people are on a pretty small budget, and that is where just money comes into play significantly. If you only have $500, again, go with the console. Do not go with the PC unless you're looking to not just play Fortnite and you're looking for other things like being able to do homework, attend your classes, be able to edit videos. Because content creation wise, PC is going to be better. If you're looking to become a Fortnite content creator and you only have $500, that's a really hard decision, because you can either sacrifice performance in terms of looks to be able to maintain the same frames or a little bit higher, but the game's not going to look as good, but you're going to be able to make videos easier and better. Or you can go with the next gen consoles, which are going to be able to capture gameplay at nice quality, nice 1080p or 4K with the graphics looking nice. But when it comes to editing your videos and just uploading them, you're not going to have as many options unless you use a flash drive to upload them to your computer and then edit them there. So that's a huge question. In terms of content creation, PC is better, but if you're looking to become a competitive player, honestly, PC is better as well. I think the only way that console wins is either if you're on a really low budget, like 400 or 500, or you're looking to just have fun. That's where I think the next gen consoles win. But either way, guys, these next gen consoles provide a huge enemy and opponent for PC, and this just allows for both platforms to just compete against each other, and that's always good for the consumer because they're always going to be upgrading. Like a couple updates ago, we had one of the best updates ever. Console had 120 FPS, PC had performance mode, and I want to see more of those things added because performance mode allowed a lot of people that weren't able to run Fortnite originally able to play the game now, and those are the kind of updates that we need in this game. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's really nice to be able to make a video here or there. Again, it really reminds me like a month ago when I was able to make videos. It was just really fun. But hopefully in a couple of weeks, I'll be able to, come back strong and ready to be able to upload to you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching until the end of this video. And I hope you guys had an amazing Christmas, and I wish you guys a happy new year. Stay close to family, stay home. But with that being said, have a great rest of your day wherever you guys are, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.